John and Mary, next door, were spared direct attacks but heard the chaos, their sleep broken by crashes and cries. The Smurls stopped inviting friends over, isolating themselves to hide the horror. In 1986, the Warrens called in Father McKenna and another priest, Father Malachi Martin, a former Jesuit and exorcist known for his work with demonic cases. Martin, a wiry man with piercing eyes, arrived in March, carrying a battered Bible and a case of holy relics. The priests planned a series of exorcisms, not for a person, but for the house itself, a rare and dangerous ritual. The Smurls gathered in the living room, clutching rosaries, their faces pale. The air was thick, the lights dimming, as Martin began the rite of exorcism, his voice steady. In the name of Jesus Christ, I command all unclean spirits to depart. The response was immediate. A deafening bang shook the house like a cannon firing. The walls vibrated, and a scream, not human, echoed from the attic. The exorcism lasted hours. McKenna sprinkled holy water, but it hissed, evaporating on the floor. Dawn collapsed, her body rigid, her eyes rolling back as a voice, not hers, snarled, "You'll never win." Janet sobbed, holding her daughter, while Jack shielded the twins, who whimpered, clutching each other. Martin pressed on, chanting in Latin, but the entities fought back. Furniture slid, a crucifix flew across the room, striking McKenna's shoulder. The temperature plummeted, frosting their breath, and the stench of sulfur choked them. Simon howled, cowering in the corner. At one point, the black figure appeared, towering in the doorway, its form pulsing like a heartbeat. Martin raised a relic, a piece of the true cross, and the figure vanished, but not before a laugh, low and mocking, filled the room. The priests tried again over the next weeks, but each exorcism seemed to enrage the entities. Jack woke to find scratches on his chest, spelling, "Leave." Janet heard whispers in her ear, calling her by name, even when alone. The girls were tormented. Erin's hair was yanked, Karen's toys moved on their own, and Dawn's nightmares grew vivid, dreams of a burning pit where the black figure waited. The Warrens stayed involved, bringing in a medium, Rosemary Frew, who sensed the lead demon was ancient, tied to the land before the house was built. She suggested a Native American curse, but the Smurls, devout Catholics, rejected it, clinging to their faith. Lorraine prayed with them daily, but even she admitted the demons were unusually powerful, feeding on the family's fear. By summer 1986, the Smurls were breaking. Jack's health deteriorated. He developed migraines and chest pains, blaming the stress. Janet was exhausted, her face gaunt, her rosary never leaving her hand. The girls were withdrawn, their grades slipping, their childhood stolen. Neighbors began to talk, some offering support, others crossing the street to avoid the cursed house. The Smurls went public, hoping to force the Catholic Church to act. They appeared on local news, then The People Are Talking, a Philadelphia talk show, in August 1986. Janet's voice trembled as she described the attacks, Jack holding her hand. The story exploded, drawing reporters, skeptics, and psychics to Chase Street. Some called it a hoax, citing the Smurls' financial struggles, but others, including police who'd visited, confirmed the disturbances. The publicity backfired. The entities grew more aggressive, as if taunting the world's attention. One night, after a TV crew left, Janet was alone in the kitchen when the refrigerator door swung open, spilling food. A voice whispered, "You can't escape." She ran upstairs, finding Dawn levitating an inch above her bed, her body stiff, her eyes blank. Jack pulled her down, but she woke screaming, claw marks on her back. The twins refused to sleep alone, and Simon stopped eating, his fur falling out. John and Mary, next door, pleaded with the Smurls to leave, but Jack refused. He wouldn't let it win. The church, cautious of scandal, sent a diocesan priest, Father O'Leary, to assess the situation. He blessed the house, but the activity persisted, and he left, shaken, promising to report to the bishop. In 1987, the Smurls reached their limit. The Warrens arranged a final exorcism, led by Martin and McKenna, with Ed assisting. It was September, the air heavy with fall's chill. The family stood in a circle, holding candles as Martin recited the ritual. The house fought back, windows rattled, a mirror shattered, and the black figure appeared, now with red eyes that burned. Martin shouted, "By the power of Christ, depart!" And the room shook, a roar filling the air. Dawn fell, convulsing, her voice growling, "She's mine!" Janet collapsed, praying, while Jack held the twins, tears streaming. Then, silence. The air warmed, the stench faded, and Dawn sat up, herself again. Martin declared the demons gone, but his face was grim. He warned they could return. The Smurls couldn't stay. In October 1987, they moved to a new home in DuPont, Pennsylvania, hoping to escape. The duplex was sold, though the new owners reported no issues. But the horror followed the Smurls. In their new house, they heard footsteps, saw shadows, felt cold spots. The entities were weaker, but present, like a lingering infection. The Warrens visited, performing blessings, and the activity lessened, but never stopped. Jack and Janet refused further publicity, wanting to protect their girls, now teenagers. Dawn left for college, haunted by nightmares. The twins struggled, their trust in the world shattered. John and Mary, aging, moved away, their health failing from the strain. The Smurl case became legend. In 1986, writer Robert Curran published The Haunted, a book detailing their ordeal, which hit bestseller lists. A 1991 TV movie, The Haunted, brought their story to millions, though it softened the terror. Skeptics dismissed it, citing inconsistencies and the Smurls' brief financial gain from media. But supporters, including the Warrens and police, stood by them. Ed Warren called it the worst case we ever worked, and Lorraine believed the demons targeted the Smurls' faith, a test they barely survived. The Catholic Church never officially declared it demonic, but Father Martin, who died in 1999, wrote of the case in Hostage to the Devil, calling it a rare, perfect possession attempt. I've studied every detail: the Warrens' tapes, Curran's book, interviews with neighbors. I've driven past the Chase Street duplex, still standing, its windows dark, like it's waiting. I spoke to a retired cop who visited in 1986, his voice low as he recalled the feeling in that house, like being watched. The Smurls' story isn't just about demons, it's about a family fighting to hold on against something that wanted their souls. Jack died in 2010, Janet in 2014, both insisting it was real. Their daughters, now adults, avoid the spotlight. But Dawn once said, "You don't forget something like that. It's in you." What was in that house? A demonic force, as the Warrens believed? A collective delusion fueled by stress and suggestion? Or something we can't name? The EVPs, the scratches, the witnesses. Hundreds saw or heard something. That's what keeps me awake, editing these videos late at night, listening for footsteps in my own home. The Smurl family haunting is a warning. Some homes aren't safe. Some battles don't end. If you are watching this, you've felt their terror. Now ask yourself, what's in your house when the lights go out? What's watching when you think you're alone? Sleep tight, because this nightmare was real, and it's closer than you think.